From WBBZ-TV Sports, it's time to beat the champ. Now, here are your hosts, Paul Peck and Sue Novoitsky.
With Hall of Fame bowlers Sue Novoitsky and Janelle Saban, my name is Paul Peck, and welcome to Beat the Champ. It's our third week here at Mallwitz's Island Lanes on Grand Island. We saw some great bowling in our first 2 weeks, and we're going to have an interesting show here today, Sue, because we've got the hometown guy, Mike Johnson, who is hot, going up against three relatively new, kind of untested bowlers on this show today.
Right, we have a transplant from Syracuse. We've not seen him bowl. He just came here and got involved in the bowling community, made our TV show, which is pretty awesome. And Curtis was the high qualifier, so we know that he bowls well here because he was the high qualifier during the tournament. Yeah,
that's Kevin Smith will be our first match, then John Danielewicz, and then Curtis Foss, who wasn't even supposed to be on the show, will get his chance to try to win a little cash and win a little glory. Meanwhile, you're going to be busy with Curtis at some point during the show because he earned himself a new television.
Yeah, he actually was our top qualifier, so he was the winner of the Dirt Sheep TV this week, so we'll get to present that to him a little later on today.
So Curtis is already a winner. Can he continue to be a winner? Part of the questions we will answer on this week's edition of Beat the Champ, so let's get rolling.
I'm here with House Shoes Johnson, who's put on a great show. We've loved watching you bowl last week. Rose to the occasion, lots of strikes. So, I don't know, look forward to more fun today?
We're definitely going to have more fun. It's getting more fun as we go, but yeah, I'm just going to keep trying to pump it in there and hope they keep falling down. See what happens.
I see a big crowd back there, and you know Mike Mallwitz is going to be sitting at that table saying stuff, right?
Oh yeah, it's getting rowdier by the minute out here. I love it.
All right. And that little man you have knocking down those pins, do you think we can count on that today?
Yeah, I just got to keep paying him a few bucks here and there. We'll be good. We'll be good.
All right. Well, last week was super exciting. I expect more of the same today. Good luck.
All right. Thank you.
I'm here on Beat the Champ. Our first competitor today is going to be Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith is new to town. You come from Syracuse. Tell us a little bit about what brought you here to Western New York.
Job. Moved out here for a job and actually bowling a little bit too. It's pretty big out here compared to Syracuse, so it's been nice. It's been a good transition. So.
Were you a scratch Classic League bowler in Syracuse?
Yeah. Try and keep it scratch, and it's a lot of fun.
All right. So, what do you think of the bowling community here in Buffalo?
It's great. I like it. It's very competitive, so that's what I like the most about it.
All right. Well, good luck today on Beat the Champ.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Match number one features our returning champion. There he is right there, Mike Johnson against newcomer Kevin Smith. So it should be an interesting match, and Mike Johnson has already shown us what a good bowler he is, Sue, and what a clutch bowler he is, and how he has the ability to respond to the challenges. We've seen that in the 2 wins that he has already put on the board last week. Big victories for Mike Johnson over Chuck Jagosinski and Jeff Dio. A little wobble, and the 8-pin will not go down. Joining us for this match is the proprietor from here at Mallwitz's Island Lanes, Mike Mallwitz, to give us the lowdown not only on Mike Johnson, but on everything that's going on here on Grand Island. Mike, welcome in. Always good to have you here.
Thanks, Paul. Good to be here.
And you know Mike Johnson as well as anybody. We heard you talk about him on the last couple of shows, at least last week. And you're telling us that you're seeing him bowl as well as he ever has.
Oh, yeah. Mike Johnson will not quit. Like I said last week, if you give him an opening, he'll take it. And he's one of the most solid bowlers I've had the pleasure of bowling against.
So a chance for him to go on a little run here with some newcomers, Sue. We'll see. That doesn't always fall in place that way, but with some guys like Kevin Smith making their debut, maybe the experience for Mike Johnson will come into play.
First shot.
And maybe not. Kevin Smith is 28 years old. He is originally from Syracuse, lives right now in Cheektowaga, New York, moved here for employment reasons and has gotten himself involved in the local bowling community and is a good-looking young bowler, and we can see that already after the first throw.
Yeah, he's got a unique approach, shorter bat swing, but real clean off his hand and just got a very nice release.
His release is beautiful.
Yeah, it's somewhat an unusually short backswing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Compared to some of the newer generation of bowlers that we see that pretty much take it up above the top of their head.
Yeah, high backswing, big power.
Yeah.
You know, he goes back just a little bit, but like Sue said, his release is clean and pure, like I've never seen before. It's really good.
You know, we talk about repeating shots, and that's really what's most important, is that you repeat whatever it is you do, and it's about timing. So whatever keeps your timing in check, as long as you do it the same over and over again.
Yep, that's what I said last week. As long as you do the same thing every time, it's all good.
And it really is about timing. I mean, so that whatever they're doing, his backswing going that far, is keeping his feet in check. That one, his last shot there, his feet actually got a little quick. He got inside his target.
He was a little fast there on the
but
feet.
that's where his release being so clean, you know, it gave him that little cheat room to the left.
Yep, absolutely.
Mike Johnson looking to grab his second spare, and he gets it.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of meeting Kevin his first night of qualifying, and great dude, you know, really nice guy. It was awesome to meet him, and he made a good run. He shot 793, one pin under Curtis Foss. So he could have struck on his fill ball to tie Curtis for the high qualifier.
Wow.
And we were joking that night, what are we gonna do, cut a TV in half?
That's
but
right.
He 9-counted on his fill ball, so we didn't have to worry about slicing the TV.
Because Curtis Foss was our top qualifier, as Mike referenced, and because of that, he wins the brand new television valued at $500 from Dirt Cheap TV. That happens every month here in the qualifying for Beat the Champ. So third frame for Mike Johnson. He's not getting a lot of breaks right now, as he's left a single pin in each of the first 3 frames.
Well, if you watched last week, Mike Johnson started out, I think, every match down early on, and you know, he made a late run. Granted, Jeff Dio opened, but you know, don't count Mike out.
This feels like a good time to take a short break. We'll be right back with more action on Beat the Champ. Welcome back to Beat the Champ. Let's get back to the action here on WBBZ-TV.
Sometimes his mistake will be we call it the Mike Johnson pipe. He'll pipe it a little too hard and, you know, throw it past the break point, but when he lays it on the lane and rolls it good, it's sweet.
You got a quick look at Janelle Sabin on the Castellone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram scoreboard. We'll keep you up to date with that all day long here today. And a big one for Mike Smith.
There's the little man.
Johnson.
The little man in the back. See, I almost jinxed him. That was the Mike Johnson pipe. Just a little extra, you know, a little adrenaline pumping, and he might have thrown that one a little too hard. Didn't lay it on the lane quite as early, but still got that messenger.
Right.
Wow.
Now,
That's a
you
really
guys
good
have
roll.
bowled in a lot of places throughout your lives, and I'm sure there's been situations that Kevin Smith finds himself in that while he's got a good cheering section here, they are being drowned out by the majority of Mike Johnson fans. How hard is that to bowl against when the whole place feels like it's rooting for the guy you're going against?
To be honest,
Yeah.
it gives me more motivation.
All right, there you go.
It pumps me up more, makes me focus a little more. You know, sometimes you can get too comfortable. If you got 20 friends around you cheering you on, you start to, you know, casual chat and stuff like that. If the whole house is rooting against you, you bear down and you focus a little more. What do you think, Sue?
Well, I would agree. I'm laughing at how many, you know, when you bowl these away tournaments, you're often, there's hometown people there and it's not you. So you get into that situation a fair amount of times. I remember the cream of the crop. It was a big tournament, a big doubles tournament, mixed doubles tournament. And the finals came down to, you know, the place was full, cheering for hometown people. The finals came down to Jack Jurek and I, and Michelle Sterner and Steve John, and the whole place cleared out. It was the final match, and everybody.
And nobody cared.
Because the hometown people were out.
Yeah, they're like, we're done.
They didn't want to. They didn't
Get out of here.
care. They didn't want to bask in the greatness of that of those
No.
four of you.
No.
Their
No.
loss.
No, it was.
Their loss. All right, so
It actually broke the stress because it was pretty funny.
So Kevin gets another spare, so he's got 3 spares in a row, 6, 7, and 8. But on the flip side, Mike Johnson working on a stretch of 4 consecutive strikes. Make it 5.
I can't even say anything. We're gonna have to pay the little man in the back overtime. I think our crowd just gave mention to Whitey Donald DeLugo's passed away this past year. He had cancer. He was our longtime mechanic. Some people say he came with the building. He was here before we even bought the place in 1980. So, little love for Whitey.
Whitey's the little man.
Whitey's the little man in the back.
Awesome.
Well, it must be.
Shout out to
Whitey
Whitey.
wants to take care of the Island Lanes regulars. 6 in a row for Mike Johnson as he continues this amazing run of outstanding bowling. So it's a bit of an uphill climb now for Kevin.
Yeah, this would be a mountain.
Yep, and you know it's pretty clear whether it's luck or the little man. The pins that are falling for Kevin, for Mike, are not falling for Kevin.
It's funny though. I mean, he came here and he shot 790, and you think you have it figured out, but from pair to pair it can be different. In this case, he's just not matching up.
Well, like we talked 2 weeks ago, it's pair to pair. It's also who's bowling on the pair.
Right.
So it's who you follow during qualifying, the way the lanes break down. You know, so obviously it's different than it was the night that he shot 793.
Right.
And that's what can happen.
10th frame now for Kevin.
That looks really good.
Yeah, that was one of his best of the day.
He got just a little bit of air underneath that one. If you notice, he just got it up and out just a little bit more, and that can change your just change your break point ever so slightly, or just change how it hits. It's kind of one of those tricks of looking out, looking down, whatever. You just get just a little bit of different angle of entry. Looks good.
Yeah, just couldn't get that 4-pin to go down.
I'm sure we'll be seeing more of Kevin Smith. Like I said, it's super smooth release. This guy will be back a lot.
Well, you'll have to tune in 2 weeks to see if he was good enough to make it at Mancuso's Lanes in Batavia. That's going to be the next stop for us here on Beat the Champ. So it's a 191 on the board for Kevin Smith, and Mike Johnson is on his way to a victory, his 3rd consecutive win. We'll watch him see if he can't keep this streak of strikes going. And he won't, but at this point, oh, look at the crowd turns quickly.
Man, no love.
They love you when you got 6 strikes in a row.
Right?
You leave a couple of pins and they're headed to the bar.
They
already.
sound like Bills fans.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They have about as much patience as Bills fans.
Exactly.
There goes your Twitter. Nice job.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm used to that already. I'm used to that. 233 is the final score for Mike Johnson as he comes up with the win, his 3rd consecutive victory. Can he keep the streak going? We'll find out when we return to Mallwitz's Island Lanes on Grand Island. Beat the Champ returns right after this. .233 to 191. Mike Johnson with the win over Kevin Smith in your Beat the Champ debut. Give me a sense of what it's like to bowl on TV with the crowd, particularly this crowd that wasn't necessarily on your side.
Had a little bit of a fan favorite I went against, but it's okay. It's hot out here. It's hot up here with these lights, but it was fun. It was a good time. It was a nice experience.
Yeah, how have you feel like you've settled into the bowling community here in the year that you've been in Western New York?
Pretty well. Liking it out here, so
yeah.
See what happens.
They're pretty good about taking you guys in, aren't they?
Yeah.
Right, Mike?
Like we said, man, once we meet you, you're family, so. You're always family here at Island Lanes, just so you know.
All right, sounds good.
All right, Kevin Smith with his debut on Beat the Champ. Can Mike Johnson keep this Grand Island run going? We'll find out. We're back right after this on Beat the Champ.
I'm here on Beat the Champ with John Danielewicz, one of our competitors today. We've seen you before. I know you're a great bowler. I know I see you bowling on Wednesdays. So it's been almost a year since your last show. Have you been trying out for Beat the Champ?
Yep. Yeah, I tried out several times. Made the top 24, but the top 9 was tough.
So, but still quite an accomplishment in the top 24. I mean, the top 9 is not an easy. It's not an easy nut to crack. But so, what did you see here at Island Lanes as far as changes in the lanes or transition?
Well, the shot looks pretty steady, so there's not much unless they're like the practice lanes. Then it's a big difference.
Yeah. Well, we know you're going to do well. I've seen you bowl before, and I have every confidence it's going to be a good day for you. So good luck.
Thank you very much.
John Danielewicz is the next guy to try to knock off Mike Johnson. He is racking up wins like cars rack up at the Grand Island Bridge at 5 o'clock on a weekday. 3 in a row now for Mike Johnson.
Not after March.
Yeah, you're getting your super cool no toll booth thing there, right?
Yeah. So now there's no excuse to come to Mallwitz.
Well, I was going to say, for the first time in your life, you can actually breeze right onto the island.
I can't wait.
Yeah, that'll be pretty cool, huh? That will change a lot of things.
Wow,
what a great shot.
There's the little man
Really
behind the rack, knocking another one down.
John Danielewicz. Sorry, go ahead, Paul.
Go ahead. No, tell us.
No, he's a solid bowler. I met him in when I used to bowl the ABT when it was around, and it just seems like he makes cut after cut after cut. I mean, tough shot, house shot, doesn't matter. The guy just makes cuts.
4th time on the show here for John Danielewicz, an overall record of 2 wins and 2 losses. We haven't seen John since late 2016 when he bowled in Batavia. But as Mike pointed out, he is a good, solid, consistent bowler, and we've seen him do that on this show.
Great shot right there. That couldn't have been more perfect.
59 years old from Sanborn. He has been bowling for well over 30 years. And he has established himself as one of the top bowlers in Western New York.
Like I said, he just makes cuts.
And we'll see if he can't overcome not only Mike Johnson being hot, but having the whole crowd behind him here at Island Lanes.
Great shot there.
That's going to be the tough part, overcoming the home crowd. But John's got the perfect game for this center. As a general rule here at our place, the straighter you are, the better your carry is. Guys that go around it, unless you're Zarcone, he manages to do it somehow because he's got that trick. But straighter is greater when you're here, like for carry purposes. And John's got that game.
Oh. Well, houses do tend to favor their proprietors.
Oh. So you're saying it's on purpose?
Either that or the proprietors, by nature of spending so much time here, figure out how to bowl to meet the house.
I think that's more
No? You're telling me no on that one?
They oil the lanes to make themselves look good.
Oh, I see how that works. I see how that works. And we got
a hiccup.
We got a hiccup.
Brandon's on it.
There he goes. There goes Brandon. Look at Brandon Agati. Look at the speed. Look at the agility. He's at the 10. He's at the 5. All right, we are ready to go now. Spare opportunity for Mike Johnson in the 2nd frame. And he gets it. How about the consistency we've seen from Mike Johnson through this winning streak of his, which is 3 matches, 257, 239, 233. That's a 240 average. How much of that is he's a good bowler who's bowling well? How much of that is he knows this place?
Well, like he said, straighter is greater, and he's got the right role to carry because we've seen so many 10 pins from the guys that kind of open it up a little bit. So that's the trick, is to get that 10 pin out here for score.
And not to mention, he did leave a lot of single pin spares his last few matches.
But then he seems to figure it out. Like, it'll transition a bit, and he'll find himself ringing a 10, and then he seems to be able to move himself to a better spot.
In the right area to carry.
Yeah.
But
and that might be part of knowing the moves in a place.
And he knows them well here. But he didn't miss his spares.
Because you get the hints. You know, you get to see when something happens. You know now it's time. Great shot.
That's 3 in a row now for John Danielewicz, opening up with strikes across the board.
That he is super solid. Every time I see him bowl, he's in the pocket. Like I said, tough shots. He bowls on tough shots, and he is a rock star.
There's a look at the Castellone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram scoreboard. We want to remind you to stay tuned at the conclusion of this episode of Beat the Champ. We'll give you the Ortner overhead door word of the week. Then enter to win an Ortner garage door opener. Contest details at WBBZ.TV. Sliding over to lane number 9 for the 4th frame. And another strike.
That was a little inside off his hand. I wasn't sure what was going to happen there.
I could see where it was crossing the arrows, and I thought it was a bit inside.
And it's not like we don't feel like this has happened in every one of Mike Johnson's matches, but he gets pushed early and sort of keeps it close, keeps it there, and then lets his opponent stumble a little bit, and then he just pounces, right? To use the word that we used from the first match. He's a pouncer. So if you're Mike, if you're Mike Johnson and you're seeing your opponent's got 4 strikes on the board, does it change your mindset? How does it affect your mindset? Because now there's always an inevitable feeling like, I better start striking or I'm going to be in trouble.
Like you said, he's averaging 240, so obviously he's in the right area on the lane. I think you just focus on posting shots, throwing good shots. You know, throw it better. When I'm bowling on his team, when we're bowling doubles together, you just say, just throw it better. And that's the answer. Just throw a better shot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's interesting. They both have the same exact target. And we've watched, Chuck be more into the outside, up 5. Right. We saw Mike play between 15 and 20. But these two are playing the exact same area of the lane. So they're both trying to cross over right about 10, 11. And it seems like John has a little bit more surface on his bowling ball.
We're going to be back with more Beat the Champ bowling action in just a minute. Welcome back to Beat the Champ.
Well, I think as we've seen in matches with the opponents against Mike, they tend to stumble somewhere along the line, and he's able to jump through. But at this point, John Danielewicz has not stumbled.
No, he's been solid, like I said. He always is.
That was inside.
Another strike for John Danielewicz. John Danielewicz, 5 amateur bowling tour titles, the Niagara Falls Bowling Tournament men's singles handicap title. Amongst the achievements in his outstanding bowling career, bowls regularly 3 days a week, including Wednesdays at Transit Lanes, Mondays up in Lewiston, Fridays at the Bowlodrome. So he's a busy bowler, as most of them are here in Western New York. 8th frame on lane 9.
Sort of leaves the door open for Mike Johnson. If house shoes can get a double here, then it would tighten it up a little bit and put a tiny bit of pressure on Danielewicz.
Mike can go off the sheet for 229, so at any point that John can shoot 230, the match is over.
Right.
And that's providing Mike does find a way to strike. And
it looks like Mike is switching back to the original ball he was using. So we'll see.
Jeez, was he listening? Was he listening to you?
I don't know. Could he hear me? I was not giving advice.
I would think you guys know each other well enough that you could probably channel your knowledge.
If I'm saying it, he already thought it.
There you go. All right, so let's see. 8th frame. Mike Johnson's got to start getting some strikes. There's one.
That looks pretty good. Was I right?
You were right.
We'll find out.
Well, you're right at the moment. We'll see what the long-term effect is. Remember, Mike's won 3 matches in a row. A win in this match would give him a chance to pull off the weekly sweep. Curtis Foss awaits the winner of this match next.
Man, watching Curtis bowl during qualifying was amazing. The guy could not strike it. I can't believe he didn't shoot 800. It was out of control.
And he wasn't even supposed to be on the show this week.
Right.
We'll talk about that in our next match. So Mike does what he needs to do, which is a double 8-9 to continue to put the pressure on John Danielewicz. The Castellone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram scoreboard tells you the story.
So what John needs to do here is to mark in both frames. If he has one open frame, then that's going to give Mike Johnson the opportunity to come up and win.
Yeah, if John marks in both, keeps it clean, he's got the win.
Well, there's one.
And it's not often you see John miss the pocket, so I think he's liking his odds right now.
7 strikes and 2 spares through the first 9 frames here, and a real outstanding, solid performance from John Danielewicz, who, as we said, we haven't seen here on the show in almost a year. Got to keep it going here, the 10th frame.
That's way in, and it still works.
Didn't matter.
Another solid game from John, though.
We're not getting a whole lot of emotion out of John Danielewicz here, are we?
He just does what he does, man.
He's a quiet
All business.
assassin.
Yeah. All business.
I'm sure he figured out long ago that emotion is only a wasting energy that needs to be focused towards the next frame.
Says you.
Well,
wait till next week.
I can only imagine what we're going to have next week. You're going to want to tune in next week too, because we really. You think we let Mallwitz loose on this show? Wait till you see what happens next week.
Oh, I'm going to bring it.
It's the Mallwitz All-Stars, and that in itself can be a rather hard to define group.
And I think we were talking earlier, it was a full moon last night, so it'll be interesting next week.
So your captains were who? Jeremy?
High qualifier was Jeremy Zimmerman. Second was Mike Johnson, Andy Moran, and Jim Fox. Those are our 4 captains.
Andy Moran is the young man who stops, right? He's in his approach?
Yeah, the unique 3-step approach, as it was once referred to.
245 is on the board for John Danielewicz.
I forgot to say in your one post-game interview, you pulled you ran into a buzzsaw comment, and that was Andy's original comment when he lost his Beat the Champ match. We haven't stopped giving him.
So now you call him buzzsaw, don't you? Right now,
he's buzzsaw.
House shoes, buzzsaw. Right, you're right. It's all it takes is one little question to pin a new nickname on. Right?
He's buzzsaw ever since.
All right. Well, good. We can't wait to see Buzzsaw Moran on next week's show. Buzzsaw, house shoes. You'll have to give us the rest of the the rest of the nicknames.
Fill you in on the rest of the nicknames.
What's Jeremy's
Some
nickname?
of them can't be said on TV.
That must be Jeremy.
Be careful with that. So it's going to be a win for John Danielewicz, 245 to 215 over Mike Johnson. The really amazing run for Mike Johnson was a lot of fun to watch. It got the crowd here at Island Lanes all fired up, and he really bowled great. But his run comes to an end. We'll talk to Mike and get you ready for match number 3 when we return on Beat the Champ. Well, Mike Johnson's 3-match winning streak comes to an end, but it was a lot of fun to watch, Mike. How much did you feed off a big cheering section for you here at Island Lanes?
The cheering section was awesome. I mean, it loosens you up, makes it feel like you're just out with your buddies having fun. It was a good time. Had a lot of fun with that run.
Combined with the confidence that you have from feeling comfortable in this place, knowing the lanes, maybe getting a few little lucky breaks there on some late falls, as we joked about the little guy back there knocking a few of them over. You know, how much does that? It helps, doesn't it?
It definitely helps. Definitely helps. You know, maybe I created some of those breaks. We'll never know, but
I think you always good bowlers always create their breaks.
I was digging up some old tricks just to get through it, though. It definitely helps.
Well, it was a lot of fun to see you bowl here and continued success, and maybe Mallwitz will give you a little bit of money so that you can buy a second pair of shoes that you can leave here, so we don't have to call you house shoes anymore, right?
Yeah, don't forget your shoes again. I think there's plenty here to maybe buy a bowling ball, a couple pairs of shoes, whatnot.
He just wants you to spend. He basically just wants you to give the money back to him, right?
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah, we'll spend it.
I know you will. One more match to come here from Island Lanes and Grand Island. We're back with that right after this.
I'm here at Beat the Champ with Curtis Foss, actually an alternate today. Tell us a little bit what brought you here.
Well, I was actually high qualifier for the top 24, and then we bowled the top 9. I just struggled with carry and shot 679, and then found out today that I was actually going to bowl because Steve got hurt.
And you won a TV.
Yeah, definitely. That's really nice.
So you were winner twice because you were high qualifier, won the TV, and now you get to come back and compete on the show.
Yeah.
So, maybe this is meant to be your day. I hate to say it, but it looks that way, doesn't it?
Right, hopefully. That'd be really nice.
All right, well, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Our final competition match here at Grand Island's Island Lanes features John Danielewicz trying to win 2 in a row. His opponent that you saw briefly is Curtis Foss. And that will wrap things up before we turn it over to our Fun with Mallwitz's event next week here on Beat the Champ, as he has compiled all of his Island Lanes regulars to have a little fun with our exhibition match. That'll be next week's show.
What's sad is that there's no one at the Grand Island High School football game because everybody's here.
You probably are right. So John Danielewicz coming off the very impressive 245 to 215 win in the match over Mike Johnson, starts things off much like he did in the last match, which is a strike in the first frame. And here we get our first look at Curtis Foss. He's in his second appearance here on Beat the Champ, an overall record of 1-1. Curtis was not even supposed to be on this show. Even though he was the top qualifier who won the Dirt Cheap TV, he did not make the top 8 in the roll-off, so he was the alternate. But one of the earlier bowlers did not feel well, suffered an injury in warm-ups, so the quick call goes out to Curtis. Get here, you got a chance to bowl on TV, and here he is with a strike in the first frame.
Right. Yeah, so unfortunately for Steve Biondi, he hurt himself in practice and couldn't compete, but you never know why things happen, so Curtis has to make the best of his opportunity.
And this is a big opportunity for Curtis. One win and 1 loss overall here in his first appearance on Beat the Champ. That came at Manor 2 Lanes. So it's the second time that we have seen Curtis Foss, and Curtis has a bit of an interesting piece of Beat the Champ lore that we'll tell you about later on in the match. But 2 strikes to begin with for Curtis Foss. You really like him. You like him as a bowler. You like everything about him, and he looks great right off the bat.
Yeah, well, he's been bowling for a very long time. He was a youth bowler, and they had him in tournaments real early, so I saw him competing a long time ago. I mean, he's still quite a young man, and just a solid, good bowler. His dad, who I know is part of the story of Beat the Champ, had him bowling in the summer sweepers and all that, competing, when he was very young.
Well, speaking of good and solid and steady, nothing beats John Danielewicz for that, and we've seen that in 2 matches already, and he starts off with 2 strikes to begin with as well. For the 59-year-old from Sanborn, John Danielewicz, there's the Castellone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram scoreboard. Another fine job by Janelle Sabin keeping us up to date on all the scores. If this one keeps up the way it's going, nothing but strikes across the board, she'll have a nice, easy time.
Yeah. And when they get too long, though, they get hard to add up.
Yeah,
too,
just keep adding 30 to everybody's score if they keep this going. So, third frame now for John. There you go. He took control of the match against Mike Johnson in our last match by striking out on the first 5 frames. Mike could really never catch up.
Well, John's created himself a little bit of tug, and so he can get the ball. You kind of see him going right to left, anyways. But even if he misses a little bit inside of his target, it just sits there and hits high flush, and high flush is good carry here. You're not seeing the ring 10s or the 8 pins or the 9 pins, so he's in a good spot.
Third frame for Curtis Foss. Now, what's interesting about Curtis, in his previous appearance on Beat the Champ, he was the guy that defeated Mike D'Amico after Mike rolled the only 300 game that we have had in 2 years of this show. So Mike gets the 300 game, feeling good about it, feeling great about it. Then he runs into Curtis Foss, who beats him in the next match.
Yeah, that's when you really want to hit somebody. You want to hit somebody after they shoot 300, because the letdown after your adrenaline builds up, honestly, that's the hardest thing about shooting 800 is continuing you know, if you shoot 300, it's harder to shoot 800 afterwards because you get your adrenaline up so much that it's hard to stay steady after.
30 years old from Medina, you saw the impressive 240 average for Curtis Foss. And that is a little bit of an unfortunate frame there.
Yes, he missed his target way to the right. Now, I'm sure there's often times that what Curtis just did right now will strike for him because his hand creates area. But because these lanes are so bowled on and that track area has had so much play, you can't touch it now. So he actually hit a spot that I think in any other situation would just be the right amount of hook for him. It's so dry there, he can't touch it. So he's got to really keep his ball. He can't really go outside of, say, 14. 13 is probably the extent of where his ball can go out to.
He made a nice run at that split, but it winds up being an open frame in the fourth for Curtis Foss, and see how John Danielewicz responds. And he'll leave the 10 pin. Well, it's been a good month-long stay here at Grand Island. Again, it will continue with our exhibition match, which is going to be a sort of team competition amongst the regular bowlers here at Island Lanes. That'll be next week. But we've seen some great bowling that, you know, started off with some guys that were hot like Joe Pullman and then Mike Zarcone, and Zarcone won a couple, and then Jagosinski beat him, and then Mike Johnson went on his nice 3-match winning streak.
You know, it's kind of fun to get to know some of these bowlers. I feel like today was a few laughs, you know, a few jabs maybe, but little insight into these bowlers as people, and they come here and they have a good time, and this is just get to know them.
Great atmosphere as well here too. Mike Mallwitz and the family do a wonderful job in making this a place that folks on Grand Island want to come to.
Right.
Whether they're bowling or not, or just coming to watch a football game, or hanging out, or having dinner, or grabbing a drink, they want to be here because it's a fun place to be.
The action will continue on Beat the Champ in just a minute. Welcome back to Beat the Champ.
Hey everyone, it's me, Janelle Sabin. I'm here with Curtis Foss. He was our top qualifier this month, so he won our brand new Smart TV from Dirt Cheap TV. Curtis, how do you feel?
Awesome. So I bowled really well in the qualifying, and then it felt even better to win the TV.
That's so awesome. What's the first thing you're going to watch?
Probably the Sabres.
What about Beat the Champ?
Yeah, well, I think the Sabres game's on before. But
Oh, okay. All right.
I'll beat the Champ.
All right. Well, congratulations, and hey, good luck today bowling, all right?
And he'll slide over to lane number 9, frame number 9. Don't forget, at the end of the show, we'll have the Ortner Overhead Door Word of the Week. You can enter to win an Ortner Garage Door Opener. Contest details at WBBZ.TV. Yeah, didn't get enough of a hook there at the end.
No, he got a little ball speed on that one. He threw that one kind of hard, and that kind of skated for him. But again, out of trouble. Nice, easy spare in the middle of the lane.
Right.
He's got a.
Now at this point, he's built himself a sizable lead that just finishing those spares off should be enough.
Well, what we're looking at here is if Curtis can continue to strike. He's looking at 244. So it has become he can't shut John out. John can still shoot 246. But he's made his job a little tougher.
So Curtis Foss will finish things out here, and as Sue said, and so does the Castellone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram scoreboard, still a chance for Curtis Foss, but he'll need to strike his way out.
Great shot.
Well, there's one. Now he only needs 3 more. That is 4 strikes in a row for Curtis Foss after he bounces back from the 2 open frames in 4 and 5. Certainly want to wish everybody and hope they had a wonderful Thanksgiving a couple days ago. Hope everybody had a good opportunity to get together with friends and family and celebrate the holiday. And we are certainly in that time of year now. Holiday season officially here. There's another one. Curtis making this interesting, isn't he?
It is very interesting.
5 in a row for Curtis Foss. Matter of fact, as you look at the score sheet, other than the opens in 4 and 5, he's had strikes across the board.
That's
he hasn't
true.
had a spare yet.
So at this point, John's going to have to match everything Curtis does.
So just when we thought, at least I did, that John was in control of this match, all of a sudden, not so. 2 more balls for Curtis Foss. Wow. He has found the groove.
Threw that awesome.
6 strikes in a row. A chance to put 1 more up and potentially get himself one heck of a come from behind win.
Well, John still has a chance. He cannot shut John out. John can go double. If John double strikes out, he's going to win by 2. Well, let's see what he gets for count here, and then we'll do the math on it. But no matter what, John's going to need the first 2 strikes, no matter what. And the last ball is going to depend on count. But he cannot be shut out. John can still come up and win.
Wow, what a way to end it. 7 consecutive strikes for Curtis Foss, and the 244 score goes on the board. Will it be enough? We'll find out, and that's going to be up to John Danielewicz. So, lay it out for us, Sue. What does John need?
He needs 2 strikes and 9 pins. So one at a time. First strike here has to have it. And we got 1.
How about that? How about the response from John Danielewicz? So now he needs another one.
Needs another one. Then his job's going to get a little easier. He only needs 9.
So John will take his time and think about this one. Wipe off the ball. Line it up. A little focus. Always looks down before he lines up the target. Needs a strike here. How about that? So all John needs is 9 pins to win. 8 pins, right?
8 to tie.
8 to tie, 9 to win, to be able to overcome the 244 that Curtis Foss just threw. Boy, we've had some great matches that have come right down to the end here this week. 8 to tie, 9 to win. How about 10 to clinch it? What a big 10th frame for John Danielewicz to win. 246 to 244. What a great match that was.
What a performance. That was outstanding.
Unbelievable. Those 2 guys just battled their way through it. Danielewicz gets the win. 2 in a row for him. He advances on to next month's competition in Batavia. We'll talk to John, we'll talk to Curtis, and we'll wrap up another great week here in Grand Island when Sue and I return right after this. What a great match we just had as John Danielewicz comes from behind to beat Curtis Foss 246 to 244. 7 consecutive strikes to end is usually enough to win, but not today.
Yeah, no, he stepped up, did what he needed to do, executed greatly, and did what he got there. So.
You really put the pressure on him, though, didn't you?
Yeah, I made those the 2 opens there in the middle, and then turned it back on. But he just came up and did what he needed to do. So.
Yeah, well, he really did, Sue. That was an impressive performance.
Outstanding reaction to him posting that score. Nerves of steel. What goes through your head? I mean, we watch you and we don't see We don't see any emotion coming from you. What are you thinking?
Just concentrate, make a good shot. That's why I picked 10 to finish up on. I had a better shot there and worked out for me.
Wow, that was just very impressive. Great job.
Right, so John Danielewicz is going to advance on. We will see him in 2 weeks in Batavia as he tries to keep his winning streak alive. Mike Mallwitz from Mallwitz's Island Lanes got a little money to give to Curtis.
Great bowling. Thank you.
Curtis is already, you've already had a pretty good, the TV, a little bit of cash. It's already been a pretty good week here, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a great time here at Island Lanes.
And the bonus of being able to get to even bowl this week, which you didn't think you would.
Yeah.
Sue and I will wrap up our 3-week stay here in Grand Island and tell you about a really fun next week's episode. When we return, you're watching Beat the Champ. Well, from the hometown bowling advantage and performances of Mike Johnson to the ice-cold, steely nerves of John Danielewicz, we had a pretty good week this week.
Wow, everything was so fun and so exciting, and it went completely different. We had superstars. We had Mike Zarcone. We had Chuck Jagodzinski through this month here, and at the end, the person with the nerves of steel, the person that, you know, not who we expected.
No, not who we expected at all. And John Danielewicz will advance on in 2 weeks to continue his run at Batavia, and he is a fun guy to watch. Just because you don't get anything out of him, you just get good bowling out of him.
That's right, and you know, that's the fun of Beat the Champ, is that you can't predict it. You got to watch it play out.
That's right. You never do know what's going to happen around here, Janelle. And I say that because on next week's show, it's our Island Lanes competition challenge, and we know the one thing we will expect is the unexpected.
Oh, for sure. Mike Mallwitz has already been warning me the last 3 weeks, and I'm a little nervous.
I think
in a good way, though.
I think you should be. We'll make sure Janelle stays nice and safe, but for you, you better tune in because you just don't know what's going to happen. Our final week here on Grand Island should be a fun one. We'll see you next week for more Beat the Champ.